It's of course waiting to that final heat where we get 3 men making it consistently right there, synchronized to the block.
Yeah.
And then you called it the Scotsman, the overhead press record holder.
I knew he would.
Nailed it.
And even with that, a couple of trips on that yoke and that, stabilizing at the top, very, very tiring, still being able to get that. I am absolutely delighted. Scotsman got it. I knew he would.
Chris Harper, our event leader, our only man in the under 80 kilo class to successfully press all 4 implements. That's big. And I believe I heard at the rules meeting that every event after this first one, the event leader will go into either the next event or the next day wearing a gold shirt, so everyone knows who they are. Which
I absolutely love. I really think that in CrossFit when they do that, it really makes them stand out. And it just gives them that, recognition they deserve as that leader going into the next event. And imagine walking out on this phenomenal stage with that leader shirt. You're just going to be fueling that fire again.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It's only going to be a performance enhancer at that point. But it does put a bunch of hungry eyes on you, much like that prey on the savannah for all the predators to kind of try to chase.
Staring you down.
But can they run faster than everyone else? Well, we'll see. But we got amped up on that one.
I'm still excited. My heart rate is through the roof.
How does that feel?
I'm so happy
a fellow
for him.
Scotsman.
I'm so happy for him. I know it. I have seen him compete a lot of times. He's absolutely amazing. And I would like to add, actually, that Chris Harper actually struggles with MS. He suffers with MS. So he has days where he physically cannot train. So to see him complete that, is just, I'm getting a bit emotional.
So
getting a bit emotional.
To have one's own body be their biggest rival, like constantly fighting against them, and still train yourself to be a world record level overhead presser, to be the only man at the official Strongman games in his category to finish the whole the series.
Amazing.
What a testament to human will.
It's just amazing. To anyone, everyone will feel inspired by that. Anything is possible, no matter the circumstance.
That absolutely inspires me. I cannot.
Incredible. Absolutely
I look forward to continuing to follow his journey through strength, especially after seeing what he's capable of here today.
Oh, great. Amazing.
Well, after that, our men's over 50 are going to have to follow. We'll see if any of them are able to finish, which, if I were a betting man, I would say at least one of them is going to.
Yes.
But our men's over 50 category should be using the same weights, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, by the looks of it, they are. We
might have a change in the dumbbell.
Slight drop in the dumbbell, which is now 64 kilos. I think that we are.
But everything else stays the same.
I think everything else is the same. Yes.
All right.
So a slight drop in the dumbbell.
But when I said we have at least one person capable, could you guess who I'm thinking of?
Oh.
just an automatic.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Tell me.
Mark Felix.
Yeah, well,
the man who
but there's
never
a few
quits.
people there. He never quits, and he is fantastic. And I met him in the airport, and he was feeling very confident, very cool and collected, as he always is our Mark.
Well, the one thing I will say, as many strengths as Mark has, but of course we all know him for his incredible grip.
Yes.
There have been some contests where overhead press does tend to be one of those events that gets away from him in terms of points.
Yes, it does. It isn't his best event, but like you said, Mark Felix doesn't quit. He gives it his all. So I'm looking forward to seeing him compete here.
It's going to be a fun one, though. And I love, as athletes in any sport, we can always take a book out of the page of those who are continuing to follow this journey in their pursuit well into their 40s, their 50s, and their bodies are still resiliently holding up on them.
Amazing.
The one thing that I do enjoy is how, you see some of the younger athletes, the younger classes, they're running, they're jumping as they're getting onto the field, they're amped up. But the Masters Division athletes,
a little bit different.
They're on cruise control until they get to that first implement. But the second that whistle blows, they operate and they expend their energy with that gas pedal down, and it's just an impressive flip in their composure to see.
I think that, again, going back with experience, save that energy, and every ounce of energy needs to be saved for where it counts, where it matters, and that is doing the lifts. That's it.
We should be having 3 athletes take to the stage for this first heat. JT Sowards of USA in lane number 1, Vuyani Muswea of South Africa in lane number 2, and Ben France of England in lane 3.
Team going well?
Yeah.
Is it with commentary?
Yeah.
Is it with commentary? Sweet.
All right, the 3 men are ready to go, and this is where we're going to see that flip in the switch. Wow.
Wow.
Vuyani and Ben just so strong in their shoulders.
JT getting a little struggling there to get it up to his chest. Can we see a good press here? Looks like he's struggling a little bit there.
We've got some cannon arms in lanes 2 and 3.
Oh, oh, that was close there from Ben.
60 seconds to complete the course.
Look at this. Oh, so close.
That was, wow, I'm impressed.
The same strict pressing nature that you would almost see from Big Z, just a little bit short of that lockout.
Under 10 seconds.
Oh,
It's now or never.
so close.
Both men giving it their all. Vuyani and Ben making it to that yoke.
Incredible.
Valiant efforts, but on to heat number 2, and this will be another 3-person heat. We have one of my favorites. We have Joey Grape in lane number 1 of USA, lane number 2, Woody Wood of USA, and lane number 3, Jerome Howison of USA, and all USA heat. But there's Joey Grape on screen flexing his pecs as he goes through. He is such a character I love to watch. He's always so happy with every contest he does.
I love that.
High spirits. His energy is contagious, and I love following his journey.
Put some amazing efforts in that last heat on that yoke. So I really hope that we can see this next heat get past that, moving on to the block.
1, take it.
Here we go.
And this round halfway through the way, 245 pounds on the bar. Dropping versus clean. Big pocket.
Joey. Excellent to watch.
Wow.
Powers on leg number 3 down ball. Wood looking for his call on his press.
Got Jerome on the monster dumbbell there, as well as Woody. Sorry, that's Joey. I'm looking at the wrong bit.
Saw Joey grabbing his shoulder right there. It's very easy for that shoulder to get strained on a one-arm press like this.
And Jerome gets a good lift. Can we see this yoke go up? Come on.
5 seconds remaining.
Good effort. Well done.
I love how you can see it from the second the athlete picks that yoke up off the ground. They know whether or not it's going.
What is this? That's what they're thinking. You can see that where it now is very different to a flat-based yoke.
That look of what have I done?
Yeah. Why am I here?
Heat number 3 is a full 4-person lane. We have Sean Brooks of USA in lane number 1, Nick Miles of England in lane 2, Thomas Coate of USA in lane 3, and Mark Bevins of USA in lane number 4.
United States, Sean Brooks. In lane number 2 from England, Nick Miles. In lane number 3 from the United States, Thomas Coate. And in lane number 4, the bigger, better Mark Evans.
I've always enjoyed watching, let's see, on lane number 3, on Thomas Coate. He is smaller in stature compared to the other athletes, but he has just dense, hard muscle, and the strength that he exhibits is just absolutely incredible.
I just want to remind everyone at home, Gabe, the athletes that, there we go, the names have
Those are
changed
the
now.
correct
Thank
names
you.
right
That
there.
is the correct names now. Our athletes are ready. We're just waiting for the whistle.
Athletes are ready.
Wow. Look at that clean from Sean, going straight into a strict press. That was incredible. That was, I've never
Both-
seen that before.
Both
Beltless.
Nick Miles
Is
and
he-
Mark Bevins.
Oh no, he does have a belt on, sorry. Couldn't see that for his t-shirt, but that was a very unique clean.
I'm watching Mark Bevins at the end. He's not wearing a belt, though.
Oh, is he not? Wow. Here we go, we've got Sean on the yoke as well.
Sean Brooks made that yoke with speed.
Can he get it before the time is up? It's less than 10. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make it. Has he got enough? No, we're running out of time now.
282 pounds, 128 kilos, that is hefty.
That's tough. That's
It
tough.
might as well be actual massive boat anchors on either side. It's just about the same weight right there.
I agree.
Our next 4 athletes to the platform. And the one from Australia.
Heat 4, Brad Carell of Australia in lane 1, Eric Schmidt of USA in lane 2, Eric Patterson of USA in lane 3, and Mark Galloway of USA in lane number 4.
Mark Galloway.
Again, we're adjusting the yoke heights to how the athletes have, you know, wanted them positioned, making sure it is right for them so that they have all the advantage that they need going into that yoke press.
Not only is this yoke the same weight that it would be to have 2 fair-sized human beings hanging onto each side of the bar, but it's also very wobbly. I mean, this is a massive implement to be asking these objects to press. The same thing goes for that dumbbell. That dumbbell itself, 141 pounds. That's the same size as a fair-sized human being.
Yeah.
You know, with pressing with one arm. These are big weights.
These are big weights.
You know, so far we have seen no one able to press that yoke. But we have plenty more
We
to go
have
through.
plenty more athletes to go through, so I'm quite confident we're going to see that yoke. And maybe even the block pressed.
Eric Patterson on lane number 3 is another one of those athletes that always has a smile on his face when he's competing. Always in the moment, having fun.
Wow. Eric Patterson and Brad on to the monster dumbbell. Solid dumbbell from Eric, that's incredible.
Eric has incredible shoulder power. Incredible.
82-pound.
Look at that. Eric
Beautiful.
Patterson in lane 3. Our first man in the over 50s to get that yoke. He has 20 seconds left for this block.
Can he
But
do it? Can he do
his
it?
shoulder power, he just strict pressed almost 300 pounds. He's going to get this. I'm calling it.
Come on.
10 seconds.
You can do this. Oh, a little stumble. He's leaving it there. He's leaving it there.
Right after I called it for him.
You
Come
called
on.
it. Come on.
He clearly has the shoulder power, but this goes to show the audience how awkward it is to just get that block off the floor. We're looking at it from the side, and it's hard to see on the screen right now, but there is a little gap that the athletes can stick their fingers in, but the weight is literally resting on the floor. It is a very low pick.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, and then on that lower back, but like you said, very low pickup. It makes it tough to get. Then you have to lean back in that position. It's a tough event.
Heat number 5, Donovan Rascon of USA in lane 1, Tatu Karhu of Finland in lane number 2, Dale Peters of Wales in lane 3, and Ivan Murphy of Jersey, the Channel Isles, in lane number 4.
Games in 5, 4.
They've already made their way down there. Let's give them some love. And lane number 1 for the United States is Donovan Rascon. In lane number 2 from Finland is Tatu Karhu. In lane number 3 from Wales, it's Dale Peters.
And Donovan Rascon is someone I've really enjoyed watching over the years. He's a man I've seen at several competitions, and he's had an abundance of competition experience, well over 100 contests under his belt.
Here we go. Dale Peters from Wales moving on to the monster dumbbell. First want to move on.
He's on the 141-pound dumbbell.
Good lift on the dumbbell.
Will that shoulder power carry over to the yoke?
Oh, watch that dumbbell.
Our volunteer staff got there just in time.
Just in time. That was close. Can we see someone else get this yoke? Dale Peters has got that stability. Just struggling to get that weight up.
10 seconds left. Under 5.
No, we didn't see the yoke in that heat either.
And here we have heat number 6. Richard Birchmore of the UK in lane 1. Mark Felix, UK in lane 2. James Allen, USA in lane 3. And Mike Cromer, USA in lane number 4.
Here we go. The miracle man himself, Mark Felix.
I've really enjoyed the memes that come out of Eddie Hall's kid, Jerry Pritchett's kid competing out World's Strongest Man, Mark Felix's kid competing out World's Strongest Man, and Mark Felix still there competing out World's Strongest Man. He is a man whose strength just knows no end, no limit.
And he just loves it. Again, we're going back to that. He enjoys the journey, he enjoys training, and you know, it shows that if you enjoy the journey, you can go far.
I love every interaction I get to have with that man.
He's so good.
3 implements at the time of 31.63 seconds is the time to beat.
Some strong shoulder statures I see here. We might see a full run.
I think we're going to see it.
Athletes are off 245 pounds.
Solid from Mark Felix.
And Mike Cromer.
Yeah. Another good lift from Mike and Mark, moving on to the yoke.
Mark with nearly a strict press there on that dumbbell. Wow, Mike Cromer
Oh my goodness.
onto the block. Big Mike Cromer.
Come on.
He gets
did
it.
it. He did it. Wow.
I saw that block bounce off and hit Mike Cromer's shin. We need to check if that block's okay.
And we have Richard Birchmore as well onto that block. Oh,
so
come
close.
on, you could. 10 seconds left.
Mike Cromer.
Wow. He got to that yoke. I looked over at Mark. Looked over at Mark, and then I looked back. He was at the block. Wow, what a performance.
If you've got that raw shoulder pressing strength, regardless of the wobble factor here, there's a point where your shoulder is just so strong that it won't phase you, and we saw that with Mike Cromer.
And we've seen that consistency go out. The people with the strong shoulders are coping better with this yoke because they're not needing to use any explosive power. It's just press.
But that yoke. 282 pounds, 128 kilos was enough to stop Mark Felix. Although we know it's not his strongest event, still, we got to take note that that yoke is, again, no joking matter.
It is no joke.
Heat 7. In lane 1 is Leigh Woody of USA. Lane 2, Andrew Burwell of Canada. Lane 3, Peter Rundberg of Sweden. And lane number 4, Vaughn Sikorsky, USA. Peter Rundberg of Sweden is a massive man, just tall.
He is. I've heard a lot of good things about him as well. Very strong athlete, very good competitor. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. And we have to be faster and make us that block to take that leading space away from Mike.
Leigh Woody dancing and loosening up the hips on lane 1 right there. Got to keep those joints supple.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to do that in hip circles. So our athletes are ready. Referees in place. The whistle is about to go. Oh, what we're checking? We're checking the yoke height. Okay, lane 2. Andrew is not happy with his yoke height. Obviously not how we wanted it set. So it is quite low. He's quite a tall man. There we go. It was way too low.
That would have been an excessive front squat right there.
That would have been a good one. But we have fixed it. We're almost ready to go. And we're off. Here we go.
Look at
Wow.
Peter. That Swedish strength.
That is incredible. That was just a straight press. Beautiful monster dumbbell. Beautiful.
Another exhibition of his shoulder power. Utilizing the thruster.
Wow.
We're going to see it. Another event leader here.
We're definitely going to see it. He's got it. Tall guy, so a very low pickup, but he's nailed. Oh! What?
Wow.
Yes!
I felt that roar from over here.
I felt that too. Look, he is just delighted. That was amazing. Well done. We've got the other athletes still grinding away on the monster dumbbell. We've got 10 seconds left. Can we see this yoke?
Vaughn Sikorsky.
Come on. Oh.
So close on that lockout.
He's still smiling. He's happy with that, I think, still. That is a good effort.
Peter Rundberg, I don't have the official time, but it was somewhere around 34, 35 seconds. He might be our new event leader, inching out Mike Cromer there. But just raw shoulder power.
Incredible. It was fast.
And he had a lot of range of motion to clear. Very tall, long-limbed athlete.
Yeah, and I said at the start that these, long-limbed athletes would struggle, but they're actually proving me wrong. They're doing absolutely amazing.
And he utilized that thruster start on that yoke.
I know. So, just shows nothing is impossible, people. Oh, okay.
Mike Cromer just a second still ahead with 33.5 seconds ahead of Mike Cromer's 34 and change finish. So Mike Cromer is in the leader. Peter Rundberg is second. We have one more heat. Heat 8. In lane 1, Dennis Troll of USA. In lane 2, David Johns, USA. In lane 3, George Pearson, USA. And in lane 4, Steve Islas.
Here we go.
George Pearson in lane 3, very quick for that lockout.
245 pounds, speed is the beginning here. 2 athletes.
Dennis Troll, right there with him. Lanes 1 and 3, neck and neck.
A little bit of a wobble on that yoke. He stabilized it. Come on. And he doesn't quite get it. Just very, just short of that full lockout there from Dennis. getting behind them here, really wanting to will them on to get.
Dennis Troll so close.
Oh, he's so close. It's that stability again. They have the strength there. It's just they can't hold it at the top. Coming up as well.
All right, our men's 50+ division, Mike Cromer in first place, all 4 implements in 33.35 seconds. Narrowly in second place, Peter Runberg. 4 reps in 34.31 seconds, the only 2 men who were able to get that block. We also have only 2 men able to get the yoke. Eric Patterson in third place with a 31.63 second split, and Richard Birchmore, 31.92 seconds. Both first and second and third and fourth separated by either a second or less than that. Mark Felix in 5th place, only the 2 implements in 16.22 seconds, all the way down to Vuani Musewa, 2 reps in 19.46 seconds. 3 seconds separate 6 through 10. Sean Brooks in 11th place, 22.4 seconds. Dale Peters, 12th, 24.38. Tatu Karhu, 26.81 seconds. And Jerome Howison, 2 reps in 46 seconds. The final bit of the roster that got those first 2 implements. Everyone south of that, only that first barbell, but still big points. 15th through 20th place from Joey Grape all the way to Mark Bevins. And here we have those athletes that just left it all on the field. We've got Ivan Murphy getting that 1 rep in 14. Lee Woody stayed out there grinding away at that barbell, finally got it. 26.29 seconds for a 23rd place finish. And the next 4 athletes gave it their all, fell a bit short, but saved their performance for what's yet to come.
Yep. Plus men here on the Sticks and Stones carry.
In Heat 1, Lane 1 is JT Sowards of the USA. In Lane 2, Woody Wood, USA. Lane 3, Thomas Coate, USA.
And the whistle has been blown. A little bit of a struggle from the guys here, but we are seeing movement.
Go Thomas!
Wow!
This is one of those events where I love watching Thomas Coate operate.
There you go.
He gets it.
Incredible. Heading back for that Stones now.
To those nickel stones. 240 pounds is the large one, 200 pounds is the light one. 15 seconds remaining. Distance now, 5 seconds remain.
See, this is really tough. Really, really tough here.
The stature difference between Thomas and the other 2 athletes, and yet, you know, not to take anything away from the other 2 athletes, but he whomped them.
Yeah.
He whomped them, and that was just incredible power. Such dense, strong muscle from Thomas Coate.
Yeah, it really shows that, you know, size is not everything.
It
know?
isn't.
It really isn't.
I love seeing it. Absolutely love it. Heat number 2 takes the arena floor. Eric Schmidt of the USA in lane 1. Mark Galloway, USA in lane 2. Donovan Rascon, USA in lane 3. All USA heat and a 3-man heat.
You guys know you're online when that camera shows you.
Okay, and the whistle is being blown. Okay, and we're up all for 3 athletes, moving, but look at lane 3. Donovan moving well. Wow.
Donovan Rascon clears that course like a smooth operator.
Incredible. He's at the stones, moving them nicely. He keeps that momentum that he had just had. He's going to get that across quite easily.
Is the distance to cover. This athlete has 27
15 seconds is plenty of time for Donovan to secure his new lead.
Come on, Donovan. Get some good distance.
Donovan Rascon, our new leader.
Amazing.
And you know what? This is a prime example of an athlete who didn't necessarily do too hot. I don't know if he moved past that barbell on the first event, but look, clearing the frame, getting a very respectable distance on the stones. I love to see that. It's just
I know. It's incredible.
power, big power.
Repositioning our equipment here, ready for the next heat in our 50 plus masters category.
9 inches is Donovan Rascon from the United States. Now the 4 heats, the 4 9-inch heat. Lane number 1 from the USA, James Howard. Lane number 2 will be Lee Woody from the United States.
Heat number 3 in lane 1 is James Allen of USA. In lane number 2, Lee Woody, USA. In lane number 3, Brad Correll of Australia. And in lane number 4, Ivan Murphy of Jersey, Channel Islands.
And we are off. Lee in lane number 2 is off to an amazing start on this event. Getting that frame across the line, going back for the stones. That was very smooth.
I love that gingerly jog to the stones. Very methodical and precise with his footwork.
Got a good grip of those stones. Just needs to keep up that steady momentum, not taking off too much to get that over the line.
15 seconds left.
Time is flying by.
5 seconds.
I believe we might see that Donovan Rascon maintains his leadership, but we'll have to get a measurement there. There is something to old man grip strength, and I say that with respect. It is a strength that is hardened throughout all the years of a person's life,
I
keeping
agree.
that close grip, doing whatever sort of work, manual labor. It's really impressive to see these athletes just not be bothered by that 590-pound frame they're carrying down the course.
Just amazing.
Heat number 4 in lane 1 will be Mark Bevins of the USA. In lane number 2, David Johns of USA. Lane number 3, Andrew Burwell of Canada. And lane number 4, Steve Islas, USA.
Here comes our next non-athlete in lane number 1. That's Mark Bevins. In lane number 2, it's David Johns. Lane number 3, it's Canada's Andrew Burwell. And in lane number 4, it's the USA's Steve Islas.
Okay, we've got Mark in lane 1, just making sure, asking Mitchell Hooper to straighten up his stones down, ready to go. And I think we are all set for this next heat. It's a great pace from Steve and Mark, lane 1 and lane 4. Mark in the lead here with a pretty flawless frame carry there.
Same from Steve Islas, straight down the course.
Not far behind him though, Steve in lane 4. Back to the stones. And look at that, Mark's speed with those stones is incredible.
Steve Islas gonna finish as well, clean.
absolutely amazing. Great speed there from both athletes.
Mark Bevins and Steve Islas as well, but Bevins. I wonder how much World's Strongest Man Mitchell Hooper touching those rings for him played a role in that picture-perfect finish.
We had 2 finishes in that heat, but the man who did it the fastest time. The time of 28.7.
I love seeing Joey Grappi. He's always in such a good spirit.
He looks so happy before he goes into the frame of death.
The frame of death of the 6-stone carry medley. In lane 1 of heat 5 will be Nick Miles of England, Joey Grip USA in lane 2, Jerome Howison of USA in lane 3, and Tatu Karhu of Finland in lane number 4.
Our next 4 athletes out in lane number 1 will be England of Nick Miles. In lane number 2 will be the United States of Joey Grappi. In lane number 3 from the USA, Jerome Howison. And in lane number 4 from Finland, Tatu Karhu.
Here we go.
Tatu seizing the opportunity, but drops.
Lane number 4 is almost there. Can he get that and get back to that stones in time?
25 seconds remaining.
Joey Grape gets it up, it pops right out of his hand. Oh, all of that tension releasing with the handle flying out of your hand, that's got to be
Yeah,
a
that's,
shock to the system.
he is still fighting to get that just a little bit farther. Oh! That's amazing.
That's classic Joey.
I love it. He meant to do that.
Style points always.
You gotta own it. You gotta own it.
He left it all on the field.
You
have
gotta.
World's Strongest Man running to your aid.
I love that.
Always the showman. I love to see. He's
That
just
was
such a
incredible.
spirit.
It was. And how else are you gonna do it?
I mean, you gotta.
How's he gonna
we were
do it?
talking about it earlier. You gotta remember the whys, and
yeah,
always
100%.
having fun with it is the biggest why at the core of that being right there. So you definitely love to see it.
And we are setting back up. Mitchell Hooper running over to his saviour and now fixing up the frame for us again.
Heat number 6 will have Dale Peters of Wales in lane 1, Sean Brooks of USA in lane number 2, Vuyani Mswewa, South Africa in lane 3, and Vaughn Sikorsky of USA in lane number 4.
Alright, we're taking on our next one. We adjust lane number 3. In lane number 1, it's Dale Peters from Wales. Lane number 2, it's Sean Brooks from the United States. Lane number 3.
I was so impressed with Vuyani Mswewa from South Africa in lane number 3 right there on that first pressing medley. He just has that raw shoulder power and is built like a tank. I imagine that's going to carry over to this medley here.
Yes, I agree. I think we're going to see, well, there you go. All 4 men straight away taking off with that.
The Welshman,
That
Dale
frame.
Peters.
Wow.
Incredible.
Jumping out of there. Heading back for those stones. I'm taking off
Accelerating.
those stones. Wow.
A man who can effectively take long strides. Dale
That
Peters.
was incredible.
That might be one of our fastest finishes of the entire day. Vujani closing in. Incredible.
Woo! Little
love
celebration there.
10 seconds remaining.
Come on, Sean. Wow.
That was a great run.
That was a great
I'm wondering what that
run.
finishing time was.
He completed the course with time of 25.21 seconds. Representing Wales, Dale Peters.
25.21 seconds from Dale Peters of Wales. I believe that is our fastest time so far today.
I think so. That is incredible.
Blazing fast. But here we have the man with the world record grip strength. Mark Felix is in this heat.
Here he is.
Heat
Here
number
he goes.
7, in lane 1, Ben France, out of England. Lane number 2, George Pearson, USA. In lane number 3, Dennis Troll, USA. And in lane number 4, far right of screen will be Mark Felix. Arguably the strongest hands in strength. Although I will say, Kevin Ferris has been able to answer his call repeatedly at every turn.
He was amazing at the Nation's Strongest. It was absolutely incredible to watch. Amazing. But also, like I said, Mark Felix there, king of the grip, and a lovely guy.
A lovely guy indeed.
Just such a nice guy. He's great.
Lane number 3 is Dennis Troll. And lane number 4 is the United Kingdom, Mark Felix. 25.21 seconds is the time to beat.
World's Strongest Helper is getting a lot of work today.
He's been busy.
Got to keep him busy in his off season. It's
He
nice to
loves it.
see Mitch breaking a sweat. Finally. All right, and we are set.
We are good to go for our next heat.
Ooh, Mark a bit hot out the gates, cost him some coordination there, but George Pearson.
Wow. Not far behind him, Mark Felix and Dennis Troll not far behind him either. Sprinting back to grab those stones. Mark Felix
Acceleration from Mark.
closing in on George Pearson.
Whoa!
That was,
I don't know,
I don't know.
but Mark cleared a lot of distance very
He
quickly.
threw those bad boys.
I want to say George got it. I mean, we'll have to see. But that was neck and neck. I hear George Pearson tell Mark Felix, I got you.
I got you.
So we'll see.
Surprise. We've still got Dennis fighting to get these stones over. He's almost there. We're going to see all 4 men complete this.
Dennis
Yes,
Troll gets
we
it in the
did.
nick of time. Do we have a new leader? Did George Pearson or Mark beat Dale Peters? 25 seconds is hard to beat. You see them right there on the screen waiting for that call.
We're just waiting to find out. Have we got a new leader?
It was close. George Pearson's time was 24.21 seconds. And Mark Felix got the claim at 24.04 seconds.
24.0 seconds from Mark Felix, 0.2 of a second faster than George Pearson.
Wow.
Insane. Both men beating that 25-second finish from Dale Peters. And we're not done.
We are not done.
We're not done. Heat number 8 in lane 1, Richard Birchmore of the UK. And lane number 2, Eric Patterson of USA. Lane 3, Peter Rundberg, Sweden. And lane number 4, our leader, Mike Cromer of the USA. In that gold shirt. Well earned after that first event.
Oh, 100%. And this is our final heat for our men's 50 plus. Can we see Mark Felix time beat?
24 seconds.
24 seconds.
But I did see an area where Mark could have been faster.
Yes.
He was a little too hot out the gates, too much anticipation, and that cost him crucial coordination as he was getting his footwork set.
I agree. So it's possible. We've got some strong athletes in this lineup here.
I love how lane one is always asking for these adjustments just because they know Mitchell Hooper is the one doing it. I love it.
Give us your world's strongest man power.
Yeah, imbue the power into this ring, good sir.
Into the stones.
If they keep asking too much, though.
Doing a great workout here.
Yeah. This is going to be a good one. Another good one.
Here we go. Wow.
Here we go. Look at that acceleration out of Cromer. So fast out of that frame for such a big man.
So fast. That's absolutely incredible. And he's got on the stones, but there's not much space behind him.
The pressure is on. Look at Mark.
Oh, he's away.
Wow.
Oh.
What do you think? Is there a new leader?
I think so. I think he's getting another golden shirt.
Richard Birchmore clearing the course. He's almost there.
You're almost there, Richard. You can do this.
20 seconds remaining.
Plenty of time for Richard. And Eric Patterson still completing that frame.
Under 5.
Richard Birchmore saying, it's my worst event, but I finished it.
I admire Eric going all the way to the end of his time. Even when that frame is such a worthy adversary, I want to know that time.
Didn't give up.
22.59 seconds out of Mike
Wow.
Cromer with an absolute perfect run.
That was incredible.
I think they're great. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
710 pounds as that final bar in the ladder?
Yeah, easy.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it.
well, no, it's
Nick
not
Best,
easy.
everyone.
No, the cool part is you got to realize these guys are 50, and probably almost every gym they walk into, there's a strongest dude walking into at this age. So it's kind of cool.
One of the reasons why you've always been such an inspiration, and these guys are such an inspiration too, is I take notes of the people who have been able to continue these strength pursuits and do it effectively, consistently. They're obviously doing something right, and it's incredible to watch. Brad Currow leaving it all right there on that 585 and getting it, moving on to the third bar, 635 pounds.
Yeah, so they're moving along pretty good. The strategy is just kind of get as many as you can, period, in this, because the weights are very heavy for the guys our age. So if they end up, if you get 4, it's going to be really good points.
We've seen a mixture of athletes using deadlift suits and some not doing deadlift suits. What is your personal take on using briefs or a deadlift suit for this?
I think in this event, you don't want anything with straps on, because you need to be able to pull into the bar and get set really fast, and straps are going to avoid that. Breathing's got to be super important because you're not doing more than 5 reps. But to get set and everything else, I think briefs, if you're going to do anything, would be the best thing to do. But either raw or with briefs.
We have Heat 2 taking the stage. Joey Grape of USA in lane 1, JT Sowards of USA in lane 2, and Andrew Burwell of Canada in lane number 3, a 3-man heat.
Yeah, so, and then you're going to have guys that have a good grip. So the faster you can get through these without having to use straps, it's going to make a better time, clearly.
But as we move through the order of competitor, these are the athletes that have a little bit less points in comparison to the rest of the roster. So we will usually see a progressing in performance increase, but a lot of moments of redemption here in the early heats.
And the top 5 is pretty jammed up. I mean, you got 60 points in the lead. You got Mark at 55, Peter at 55, and then you got George at 52. So it's going to be kind of interesting when we get to the top 4 or 5 guys to see what happens there. But these guys are still working hard.
Andrew Burwell locking out a 6-plate deadlift right there. JT Sowards, very tall man, lots of range of motion to clear.
Now think about that. At 50 plus years old, he just pulled 6 plates.
Incredible, man.
Let's go.
Under 10.
Andrew's going to leave it all right here. One final attempt, 6:35.
He's calling it today.
And I've been saying it. We saw yesterday in the frame carry event that athletes were giving it their all the way to the last second.
Yep.
But deadlift is one of those events where the second you pull on it, you kind of know whether or not it's going to go up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is going to move, or nope, we're done.
All right, we have our third heat, Woody Wood of USA in lane 1, Jerome Howison of USA in lane 2, Ivan Murphy of Jersey Channel Islands in lane number 3, and Eric Schmidt of the USA, lane number 4.
Yeah, Eric's probably the lightest of all of us.
But we have seen repeatedly that size typically sometimes does not transfer over to ultimate strength.
That is very true. Very, very true. Well, I mean, look at you.
Is that a compliment?
No, it is a compliment.
No, thank you,
huge.
Nick. Thank you, Nick.
But when we stand next to Brian,
Yeah, we're not too big at that point. But Eric Schmidt and Ivan Murphy, neck and neck, moving on to the 6:35.
What do you got? Strapping back in.
10 seconds.
Wow.
That adjustment made the world of difference for Ivan Murphy.
Yeah, if Murphy widens out his hands a little bit, that lockout's going to be even easier too. He's catching himself.
Heat 4 in lane 1, Eric Patterson of USA. In lane number 2, Sean Brooks, USA. Lane 3, Mark Galloway of USA. And lane number 4, Thomas Coate of USA. And all Stars and Stripes heat here in Charleston, West Virginia. We were talking about body size. Thomas Coate is one of those athletes. He's one of the smaller framed individuals here, but such impressive, hard, dense muscle and strength.
Yes.
I am so inspired every time I watch him take the arena.
I just like the will and the determination. You know, age is just a number. There is no reason to stop. The only reason why I stop is if you can't.
Here they go, 545 pounds.
Oh, Patterson just slaughtered that. Come on, Eric.
Athletes looking strong, under 545 pounds. Enthusiastically approaching their next level.
That was nice and easy.
Smooth operator out of Eric Patterson.
Yeah, 6 plates like it was nothing. He's a pretty good deadlifter. And an overhead presser.
I'll say, he's proven it here. Sean Brooks, locking out 585. Patterson, our first man to move on to that fourth bar, 675 pounds, 306 kilos.
Come on, Eric.
Less than 5 seconds.
675. A little short on the 7 plates, but
Just a bit. But he did a fantastic job in biding his energy and giving himself that best fighting shot possible. All right.
in all actuality, size is relative. I mean, you're a big man, but compared to some of the, and I'm not small either.
Put us next to a 400-pounder, it's a different story.
Yeah, we're a little small. But go ahead.
Heat 5, David Johns takes lane 1 of the USA. Lane number 2, Tatu Karhu of Finland. Lane number 3, Lee Woody of USA. And lane number 4, Donovan Rascon, USA.
Lane number 3 is Lee Woody. And lane number 4, Donovan Rascon.
Let's go, Lee. All right.
Speed from David Johns and Donovan.
Well, here he comes in lane number 1. 3 men on 585.
David slowing down a little bit on the start, but still by no means slow at all.
And he's on to 7th place. 675. Looks like his grip is bugging.
Woody looking to
You're
finish
just trying to get the straps on the top.
Lee Woody joins David Johns on the fourth bar. Big points for anyone who gets it.
It's a no for Lee.
And that 7-plate bar, bar number 4, will remain unlifted thus far in the Kabuki Strength Deadlift Ladder for our men's over 50. Heat 6 takes the arena floor. Dennis Troll of USA in lane 1, Richard Birchmore of the UK in lane 2, Ben France of England in lane 3, and Vuyani Musewa of South Africa in lane number 4.
That guy's strong.
He is. I have been consistently impressed by the strength and representation showing up out of Africa for OSG this year. And last year too, but this year they've stepped up even more.
In force. And it's great to see. It's great to see other people around the world devoting themselves to it and getting after it as well.
It's all about worldwide strength here and loving this sport at every turn and how it brings us together.
Absolutely.
Richard Birchmore and Ben France. Musewa closely behind all 4 men. It is a race to bar 4, and Ben France is the first man there. Our new event leader, Ben France in lane 3, on to 710 pounds.
Big 710.
Ben France of England, our leader, successfully completing the Kabuki Strength Deadlift Ladder. Richard Birchmore strapping in for bar number 5.
There we go. Another second man completing it.
Richard Birchmore locks out bar number 5. We have 2 heats left, but these final 2 heats now have the pressure of knowing every bar has been lifted. It is no longer a matter of completion, it is a matter of time.
And will.
And the big underlying factor, willpower. Heat number 7 takes the arena floor. Steve Islas of USA in lane 1, Vaughn Sikorsky, USA in lane 2, Mark Bevins, USA in lane 3, and Peter Rundberg of Sweden in lane number 4.
This, I think, is where some of the strategies are starting to come involved.
What kind of strategies are you talking about?
Well, they're fighting for points. So how many bars can you lift without using the straps? Because getting down and getting set to pull faster and getting on to the next bar instead of the guys running around, jumping over and stuff like that. How fast you can get set up to the next one.
And even at this point, even if the athlete takes all the way to their time cap but still manage to get that 5th bar, that puts them in 3rd, regardless of how slow they are.
Correct. So the strategy's got to start focusing.
Peter Rundberg, there has been some massive power out of Sweden, to no surprise.
Yeah, he's tied for the second, isn't he?
I believe so.
With 55 points, so this is a big deal. He's got to go not knowing what Mark and the other guys are doing.
Rundberg barely using his straps for bar number 4, 675. That's a long way up, but it's no match for Peter. 322 kilos. Peter Rundberg.
We might have a new leader. We might have a new leader. Peter pulled that pretty good.
He
Pretty
did.
easy.
He did. Is it going to be fast enough to be our new leader? I think it might. We'll have to get an official confirmation.
Yeah. Here comes the lead group.
3 men have completed the Kabuki Strength Deadlift Ladder. Heat number 8, our final heat, and you see our gold shirt wearing athlete there, the current leader. In lane 1 will be Dale Peters of Wales. In lane 2, George Pearson, USA. In lane 3, Mark Felix of the UK. And in lane number 4, Mike Cromer, the gold shirt donning behemoth of a man.
Yeah.
Mike has consistently impressed me this weekend.
Mike's got some very good strengths. That frame run and Denny Stone run is probably the best I've ever seen him do.
Did you see him jump out of that frame?
Yeah.
Big man can move.
He can move. He's a heck of an athlete. But this has been kind of Achilles' heel for him. So we'll see how this goes.
Mark Felix,
Mark
an incredible
and George are off.
deadlifter.
This is going to be fast.
Mark Felix onto the final
Here we
bar.
go.
No straps needed, of course.
And a new leader. I'll say that right now.
And George Pearson.
And George just pulled it too. Now,
5 men completed with Mark Felix,
Mike's
most
got-
obviously our leader.
yeah, Mike's got a 5-point lead, so Mike needs to get to that last bar to keep that shirt on. Come on, Mike.
You know when it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mark Felix. It's almost comical the fact that he still had his straps on, but we know he doesn't need them. And he
doesn't
knew
need
it too, but
Yeah, it's
I
better
get-
to have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
Yes. Wow.
So
Nick?
that's going to shake up the points a lot too.
You think you could have beat Mark at that? I got to ask you the loaded question, brother.
I think it'd be pretty close.
I think it's something we would all love to watch.
I would love to. Let me put it like this. I would love to try again. So, but that's going to pretty. That's yeah.
25.81 seconds, 5 bars for our first place finisher and leader, Mark Felix, with George Pearson taking just shy of 4 seconds more. In second place, Ben France, all 5 bars in 30.9 seconds. Peter Rundberg of Sweden, 5 bars in 39.56. And our final man to get all 5 bars, Richard Birchmore, 48.34 seconds, with only one man to get just 4 bars, Mark Bevins in 6th place, and every other man either got 3 bars or less.
Right, which is going to really change kind of the run-ups on the points. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see the changes at the top.
And the threshold between 3 and 2 bars begins at 15th place with Dennis Troll, 2 bars in 18.84 seconds, all the way down to Brad Curl right there, 20th place, 2 bars in 26.82 seconds. There we have it. The threshold between 2 and 1 is 23 and 24. Nick Miles in 23rd place, 2 bars, 33.1 seconds. And Thomas Coate gets 1 bar in 8.56 seconds, with every man finishing 1 bar down to Woody Wood in 29th place, 1 bar, 21.87 seconds, leaving it all on the field, making sure to get points. James Allen, unfortunately, falling a bit shy of earning that 1 bar lift.
Masters 50 plus division. In lane 1, James Allen of the USA. In lane number 2, JT Sowers, USA as well. Weights stay the same across the board. 71 pounds on their back.
Now this is a category like we've just gone from some of the most athletic, people in the sport to guys that are, let's say, past their prime. You can see their joints are feeling it. This extra weight on the back is not going to help. Anyone that finishes this in the 50s plus is going to be super happy, and obviously they're still fighting for those top 10 places.
But you know what I appreciate about watching the Masters athletes is they may be slow and casual to get to the next implement, but when they are there, they do flip that switch.
They've still got power and they're still dangerous. That's the thing with them. And do you know what? When you're backstage, the Masters guys are the nicest guys to be around. A little bit more laid back, happy to be here. And some of the other classes, they're so serious. They're young, they're hungry, and we've all been there. But the Masters are just chilled out. They're just happy to be here, having a joke. They're some of the nicest guys that you'll see.
Both athletes are leaving all in the field, but that tombstone seems to be the real deciding factor on who makes it to the sled or not, obviously. Laz, I have to ask, as we're watching this, the athletes are getting an increasingly heavy load in that Go Ruck backpack that they are wearing. You prepped for this, you trained for this. What is that sensation like when you have a significant chunk of mass pushing down against you when you're asking your body to come up with weight in hand?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, strongmen are big, cumbersome people as it is. Now, to then put that extra weight on top of them, it really changes the dynamics of the event. I mean, I was training with some of my training partners, and if you don't get things right, and you aggressively pull to lift a sandbag off the floor, and your grip slips, you go flying, because that extra weight just throws you back. We've seen that a couple of times today already. And it drains you much, much quicker than doing it without the sandbag. It doesn't feel that bad once you're up and carrying the weight. But you feel it when there's no weight running back. And if you mistime anything, it completely throws you off. And if you end up on your back, which we've seen on the drag part, it's then really hard to pick yourself back up.
There's no such thing as a sit-up.
You're almost stuck like a turtle on its back. So you've got to roll yourself over, pick yourself up, and that extra weight becomes even more draining. So it's very, very important to take your time with the pickup. Get the hand positioning right. Make sure you have it up and high off your legs so then you can move smoothly to to the drag.
Such a worthy challenge. And here we have heat number 2 with Woody Wood in lane 1 of the USA, Mark Galloway, USA in lane 2, and Thomas Coate of the USA in lane 3. This will be a 3-man heat. Unfortunately, Nick Miles of England is out. Now, Thomas Coate has been an athlete I've been consistently impressed with. I've been saying it because he is not one of the larger framed athletes, but he is so strong. And you and I commented on him last year.
Yeah, I love this guy. I actually coached Thomas. And I mean, you know, the reality is he's probably the smallest athlete in this class. He's new to Strongman and he's absolutely lovely. He started Strongman at the age of 55 years old. And now he's progressing. He's improved since last year. He still feels he can get better. He's working hard and he just keeps fighting to the end. It's what it's all about.
Well, here he is tackling the 275-pound, 125-kilo tombstone bag.
So important to make sure that that bag doesn't flip back, and we've seen that a few times already, where if you don't get low enough on it, it kind of comes back into you and then just flops.
Wow, Woody Wood taking a spill there. Not only is he a big man to push up, but he's got that 71-pound backpack. Laz, would you rather these implements be solid stones, or are you happy that they're sandbags?
I'm okay with them being sandbags, but you can see in lane 3 how it's kind of compressed a little bit, and that is a disadvantage. You've almost got to go and check them beforehand and make sure that the sand is kind of moved about so that it's solid. Because once it starts to kind of compress and get lower and lower, you then have to physically grab lower, which is harder, especially for the masters that aren't quite as flexible.
Right, right.
But yeah, it's a great challenge. I think when it was initially put down as an event, everyone was very skeptical, a little bit worried, because we've never gone down the route of wearing a rucksack with extra weight before for a strongman event. But it's probably just about right, you know. It's still a strength challenge. These bags are very, very hard. They're not kind of like Mickey Mouse type weights. You've really got to make sure you get that pickup right. And actually much more challenging than your standard sandbags would be.
Taking a look at them backstage in the days prior to the contest, they're pretty. They look nice, and I would love to have some of my own. But a very worthy challenge.
I was genuinely very worried when I got here a few days ago and I tried them for the first time. Because I've torn both biceps, I can't squeeze as hard as maybe I'd like to on a stone or a sandbag like that. So I rely on wrist and finger strength. And you know when you come and you try things when you're not really focused.
Right.
I was like, damn, how am I going to lift this? But I actually had to play around with it. And if you kind of get your fingers under and rock it back and forward, with the sand moving slightly, you can create some handles.
Some nice dents.
So then you could kind of stiff-leg it up to the legs and it wasn't so bad.
Heat 1, we have Brad Curl of Australia. Lane 2, Joey Grape, USA. Lane 3, Eric Schmidt, USA.
Joey moving very quickly.
And Andrew Burwell of
Flying with that first bag. Really, really good. Needs to sprint back. Now, Joey was excellent with the first sandbag. Let's see how he tackles the tombstone bag. And Brad in lane, is it 1 here? Actually doing very, very well. Now this is where that extra body weight helps.
Absolutely.
Compared to the under 80s that we watched earlier.
He looks cool and collected.
And this is where the sandbag actually helps a little bit. The Go Ruck sandbag that they're wearing gives them a little bit of extra weight to pull back.
Brad Curl, our first man finishing. And Joey Grape.
Joey started so fast then.
He did, getting a little bit of assistance off the field. Maybe a bit of a cramp.
It's been long days, and these guys will be feeling it.
It has, but...
I mean, long days for you. I'm sure you're tired just sat here doing the commentating all day. I know when I do the commentating for a long period of time, I'm exhausted. So when you're out there competing as well,
honestly, I'm having a blast, Laz. The second I get on these mics, time just flies by. I look at my phone and it's like, wow, this many hours has passed, but
you're doing the right
thing. I get lost in the talent of this pool here. It's just action at every turn.
Do you know what's nice? Obviously, I've got experience now, being in the back as an athlete, being here with you on commentary. What I didn't like was I couldn't watch stuff from backstage because you can't see what's going on, and there's so many great athletes to watch in this contest. So it's nice to be out here and see the action and see what's going on.
That's another perk of this job, my friend. A front row seat to all the action.
Yeah.
We have heat number 4 taking the arena floor. Jerome Howison of USA in lane 1, Donovan Rascon of USA in lane 2, Ivan Murphy of Jersey Channel Islands in lane 3, and Sean Brooks of USA in lane 4.
So we've had one finisher so far?
One so far, and that was Brad Curl of Australia in that last heat. But as the day advances, like all the other events, the highest placers are the last to go. Jerome Howison getting very quick into that upright and lean back position. 275 pounds, 125 kilograms on that tombstone. It is big, it is massive, but so is Jerome right there.
Good job, come on, make it there this time.
Just trying to get his hands down a little bit lower.
I like that power walk from Donovan right there. Not quite running, not quite walking.
You can see how just fighting to get these sandbags up is draining them with the go ruck on their back. Amazing helpers here, getting these off as quick as possible. So the world's strongest helper right there.
World's strongest helper. I loved his shirt yesterday with it printed on his back.
Yeah.
That was something.
Terry Hollins as well. Superstars of the sport all around.
And yourself too, man. It's hard for these athletes to give anything less than their best when they're surrounded by such an atmosphere of experience, knowledge, and power. I know that's how I would feel if I was down there competing. I saw you guys there.
It's a great opportunity for so much kind of knowledge to be passed around. You know, everyone's here to do the same thing. We all love the sport. We all want to see the sport grow. The fact that we have so many classes now. You know, this year the 50 women's, and there's a good amount of women competing in that class. There was a time I went to strongwoman competitions in England for Britain's Strongest Woman, and there was 2 athletes. Wow. Now we have so many people doing the sport. The under-80s men right through to the heavyweight men. You've got the masters, the 50-plus masters, same on the women's side. I mean, almost 400 athletes competing here.
And on top of that, all of the countries that have their flags here. I mean, this is a massive coming together of people under the unifying phenomenon that is Strongman.
I hope people watching that want to get into the sport or have just got into the sport realize this pathway now. You know, this is the real route for open class to get to World's Strongest Man, to get to Giants Live, and for a legitimate world title for all the other classes. And as the sport grows, who knows, we might see arena shows for the different weight classes, the women's. It's getting bigger every year.
It's amazing to watch the exponential growth. In lane 1 of Heat 5, Lee Woody, USA. Tatu Karhu of Finland in lane number 2. Steve Eastlas of USA in lane 3. And David Johns of USA, lane number 4.
All 4 of these athletes looking quite comfortable on the cannonball. As comfortable as you can look, anyway.
Right, comfortable in quotes. Laws, what do you think about wearing that hip belt to support the backpack?
I think that's smart. The less movement you can have through the backpack, the better. And see, is it Lee there that's decided not to go for it? It'll just create more swing of the bag as he moves.
Now, the hip belt is one thing. What about the chest support?
I would personally go without the chest support, just because I feel it would kind of constrict me a little bit as your breathing starts to get harder and harder as you go through. But everyone's different, you know, some people want that tightness, but me personally, I'd go without it. It looks very high up on his chest right now, almost up to the neck.
Right, from hiking backpacks I've worn, that chest strap can very easily start constricting a little bit of that maximum volume.
And you can see now it's starting to get to him. The legs are going, the oxygen's being burnt up.
Tatu Karhu, from the second he picked up that sphere, he looked very strong, and he finishes the Go Ruck Survival Challenge first in this heat. Lee Woody right behind him, closing on the finish, just coming up a bit shy. If he didn't take that fall, he would have had it. Falls are so costly on this one. Like we were talking about, that added weight on the back.
It's so hard because the hamstrings start to just blow up, and you're trying to fight yourself from not falling back, but with the backpack weight extra on top of you, it's almost impossible to fight it.
But the strongest will prevail.
Always. And we're seeing that.
We are,
you know,
indeed.
we see every heat. We've had 3 events already. It starts to kind of shape up the competition. There's still athletes all very close fighting for that top 10, but we're starting to see the athletes that we really are going to be battling for the title as well. And by the last 2 heats, you'll be looking at the top athletes.
Well, 3 heats remain with heat number 6 taking the arena floor. In lane 1 will be Eric Patterson of the USA. Lane 2, Dennis Troll, USA. Lane number 3, Mark Bevins of USA. And lane number 4, Guyani Muswewa, South Africa.
I love that headpiece.
Oh, yes.
So these guys could be quite close. I haven't got the scores in front of me, but potentially could be big battles to make it through to that top 10.
This has been a very interesting event to watch because we had that frame carry with the nickel stones yesterday. And although that was a moving event, the athletes were carrying an immense amount of weight. And of course, they're carrying the big sandbags here, but there's that transition period where the athlete has to open up full foot speed. We get to really see who's got the footwork, who's got the agility and the nimbleness.
So many factors, it's not just about brute strength.
Mark Bevins, the first man to load the sphere.
Misawa going for a different technique on the sandbag. Let's see if it pays off.
I'll call it that Derek Poundstone grip, but I think that only really works on a very rigid, stiff stone.
You need the really hard object, so that lower hand just kind of can tuck underneath. And he's gone back to just going round.
Mark Bevins looking so good, but Patterson closing the gap.
Very good. Eric coming in now to finish. Well done. Just finishing this is a fantastic achievement.
It's big points.
Ooh.
Almost spilled there. Good
Legs
recovery.
are going, yeah, very good. So interested seeing the crash mats at the end to save the athletes. There's good thinking by Lynn, knowing that at the end of this event, these guys are going to be spent.
Yeah. It's a good way to save any of those tailbones and pelvises from getting extra smashed. All right, heat number 7, our second to last heat. Vaughn Sikorsky of USA in lane 1, Dale Peters of Wales in lane 2, Ben France of England in lane 3, and Richard Birchmore of the UK, lane number 4. With our second to last heat, these athletes are there for a reason. They have performed very well. Mark Bevins, 52.61 seconds, I believe, is his time. He is our new leader. We just saw him in lane 3 of that heat. These athletes, I believe, someone will beat it, and if not here, for sure on the next one. That's just the nature of the beast with these final heats. We've seen a variance in athletes wearing gloves and those without gloves. What's your take on that for this event?
It comes down to personal preference. I was going to go without gloves, but I require more wrist and hand strength. Whereas if you require more bicep strength, going with the gloves is a good option because it does give you a bit more grip. And I've seen a few athletes use the gloves quite effectively. The only problem with the gloves is it can get a little slippy on the handle for the drag.
Ben France seeming to be our leader, but look at Dale Peters accelerating.
Dale's going really well.
France takes first.
Very good there.
A costly fall for Peters.
Richard.
Birchmore is in second.
Vaughan really needs to finish this. Keep it going. Can he time this?
He's got it.
He's got it.
A fall is easily 5 to 10 seconds lost there. Costly.
So much more costly with the backpack.
And we saw it with Inez Castillo.
She was going absolute lightning.
Do you think she would have beat Underdown?
It would have been close. I think it would have been close.
It's a hard thing to watch
it is.
As a spectator, isn't it? A much harder thing to experience as an athlete. But That's where you get all facets of strength and coordination tested. Not just the brute power, but the footwork and
Absolutely.
accuracy.
And these type of events are events that nothing's super predictable. You know, certain events like a deadlift, we can predict it pretty much, you know, as you expect it to be. But these type of events, anything can happen.
Our final heat, Heat 8 in the men's 50-plus category. George Pearson in lane 1, USA. Mike Cromer, lane 2, USA. Lane number 3 is Peter Rundberg of Sweden, and lane number 4, Mark Felix, wearing the gold shirt, our current leader.
Got himself into the lead.
He has. But I've been saying it, Mike Cromer has really impressed me. He fell a bit short on that deadlift
The deadlift
ladder.
cost him. He doesn't look like a deadlifter.
But you know what? He jumped out of that frame with ease
His
yesterday.
frame was fantastic. I mean, to beat Mark Felix on a frame, you've got to be going. Mark is very good at those type of events, so that's a big win. Shows his standard. Let's see what he's like at this type of event. Moves fast for a big guy. Mark Felix doing what he needs to do. And Mark has such big hands, big long wingspan.
The horizontal pick for Mark gives his legs plenty of room to move. But Peter Rundberg right there with him. It's all
Peter's
about
been
stride
impressive.
here.
It's a close race between these two. Mark's just ahead, needs to not make a mistake.
Rundberg
And Peter is
accelerates.
coming. He's ahead.
Peter
Can he
Rundberg.
keep this? All the way to the line. He gets it.
Rundberg of Sweden edges out Mark Felix.
into second place. George Pearson is almost across the line as well.
Wow.
And after that fantastic start, Mike is struggling on this one.
The Swedes have really brought some serious power to OSG this year.
In both Masters classes, the Swedes have been incredible.
Mountains of men.
5 seconds.
That was something.
That was exciting.
The winner of the Gold Rock Survival Challenge for the men's Masters 50-plus category with a time of 35.67 seconds.
35.67 seconds.
Great race there. Peter Rundberg and Mark Felix, first and second in that one. Peter taking the win after Mark was ahead for the 3/4 of that race.
That acceleration, the stride. That's a bit of a gamble on that backwards drag.
3 Scots in the under 80s.
Amazing. There's some power in your
I'm
country.
wearing my kilt tomorrow.
There you go.
Okay, we've got the men's 50-plus there, and in that top spot with 111 points is our very own Miracle Man, Mark Felix, followed by Peter Rundberg with 109 points and George Pearson with 105 points. They're going down. Our 10th place is
Vujani Muswewa.
81 points. That's our top 10 for the...
Our weights will stay the same across the board here.
Who knew throwing bags would be so exciting?
Who would have guessed? Throwing big, heavy objects. That'd be so fun. And it is interesting watching the athletes prep in their training for this. Some athletes do have access to these beautiful Cerberus strength sandbags. Other athletes will make do with tossing either homemade weights or kettlebells. I enjoy seeing the kettlebell tosses. The athletes making just a field of craters wherever they decide to train. All right, in our men's Masters 50-plus category, Vujani Muswewa of South Africa in lane 1 and Vaughn Sikorsky of USA in lane number 2. Tall guys.
Wow. These are flying.
Vaughn, aggressive and fast. Here comes Vaughn, 45 pounds.
Ooh. Maybe a little bit closer to the frame. Yes!
Sikorsky with a 27-second finish.
As he shakes his head that he's not happy that he's had to do that on the second attempt, but that was still really, really fast.
Muswewa knows he's at the end of his rope there. But that's one thing that these athletes I'm consistently seeing is they get so caught up in how fast they need to be on those first 5 bags. But when that 5th bag or that 6th bag jumps up heavier in weight, they're not close enough, and that's when they're making that critical miss. And any missed bag, especially at that weight magnitude, is precious energy.
I agree. I think going into that last bag, you should really just take your time and make sure you position yourself properly, and that's going to be better than having to redo it. And you're going to be much quicker just taking that extra couple of seconds.
That extra couple of seconds, 1 or 2 extra seconds to collect yourself, your poise, is much more valuable than taking 5 or 10 extra seconds.
I agree.
Or none at all. Okay, Mark Bevins of the USA in lane 1 and Dale Peters of Wales in lane 2.
Oh, didn't have the height there.
Bevins.
Just switched on.
Oh, Bevins. So aggressive.
And he gets it. You can just see the fatigue kicking in now for both athletes. Oh, Bevins got that extra power there.
Bevins, he does it. After he already did toss them all, he comes back and nails it. But how frustrating for him, I would imagine. But, you know, you have to keep your wits about you. You can't just be all charge and no awareness. I could make an old man joke. Maybe he forgot his readers. Oh, Mark, I'm just playing. Good, awesome power show by Mark Bevins there.
You can see that, in that last 2, he just got that burst of energy, but maybe a bit of frustration, adrenaline kicked in there.
It's one thing to have seen the athletes mistoss that 1 bag and then have to go for it, but to see all 3 bags just slam into that sandbag toss sign, that's something. Okay, our next heat number 3, takes the arena floor. Mike Cromer of the USA in lane 1 and Richard Birchmore of the UK in lane number 2. Cromer, a tank of a man, showing it at every turn this weekend.
Birchmore on the 5th bag here. Oh, just misses it. Oh, how frustrating. Birchmore so close on both those attempts on that 40-pound bag. Moving on to the 45-pound bag now.
Birchmore a bit gassed on this final bag, but rightfully so. And these men just totally smashed by the load of this work.
Richard there saying, oh, well, I gave it a go.
He did. He gave it a go and a half, I would say.
He was very, very fast. Just that last bag, that extra 5 pounds.
It's tough. And I've said it over and over. Any miss is so critical. It's 1 extra toss, that much more of your percentage of energy gone. Heat number 4, our second to last heat, Ben France of England in lane number 1 and George Pearson of USA will be in lane number 2. Where is Pearson? There he is.
Here he comes.
Big bad George Pearson. It's a massive man.
Big guy. Wow. The height on that bag from George.
From both men. Look at Ben France.
Whoa. Oh.
Pearson catches that heavy bag. Oh, my goodness.
Don't worry, I
Ben
got
France on his final bag, and he gets it.
Woo!
I believe that was just at 20 seconds. We'll get the official time, but our new event leader, Ben France of England,
Well done, Ben France. Getting the height there from George Pearson, just not quite the distance on that bag. There we go. Oh, need more distance there. Come on, George.
Oh my goodness. Come on, George, you got this.
Come on, George, we're all behind you. You hear the crowd is electric in here. Oh.
So close, and you have to toss that bag so many times. But look, here comes Ben France, right behind George. Ben France, just such an impressive show. And I mean, we can speculate all we want about limb length. France is by no means a small man. He is massive himself. But Pearson was towering over him in stature, and France smashed it.
He did.
About a 20-second time, we'll get the official scoring. Although, our final heat, we will see if it stands, because these two are juggernauts. Peter Rundberg of Sweden, another tree of a man, just absolutely towering.
A tree.
And I can say the same about Felix.
Both big guys here.
Who's your call on this one?
I'm going to say Mark because I love him.
I love Mark too.
I do, but
and I know him more familiar than Peter, but I'm calling Peter.
He's impressive, so it's hard. But I'm rooting for Mark. Come on, Mark. Wow.
Mark watching it a little bit longer than Peter is.
He's making sure that they are going over. And again, it's got
Rundberg.
I think you've got this right here. You got it. You called it.
Rundberg gets it, and I do believe
come on,
Ben
Mark.
France will remain our leader. We'll get the official confirmation. Felix on his final bag.
Yes.
There we have it. About a 32-second finish for Mark Felix. Peter Rundberg, somewhere around the 22-second mark. We'll get those official times, but it just goes down to that final heat, doesn't it?
It does. You call it.
Number 2, Mark Bevins of the USA.
Thank you for having me back on, Gabe. It's been an exciting day.
That's an understatement, my friend. The action all amounts to this final event.
So these masters, I saw them backstage, and they're so happy to get to this point. They want the competition to be over, but they want to keep fighting as well.
Such a fun event to fight and endure, though.
You know, if you can finish all these stones, you've succeeded, you've got through the competition.
Regardless where the cards fall, that's a trophy on its own. Mark Bevins loads the 4th stone, 300 pounds, onto the 325.
He's doing well. 5th stone goes up.
Here we go. 159 kilograms, 350 pounds for Mark Bevins.
Can he finish? Yes, he does.
With ease, Bevins, as you were saying, the man finished the 6-stone series.
That's what it's all about.
Vuyani Muswewa gets his 5th stone.
South African, representing his country, finishes 5 out of the 6.
That is some momentum for this weight category to start off the first heat with a successful run. It is no longer about completion. It's about how fast they can be. Can they beat Mark Bevins?
I think we're going to see fast times.
We really are.
We've got some.
Sikorsky
We actually have some great stone lifters in these Masters 50s. I mean, Mark Felix, an amazing stone lifter. I know Peter Rundberg's a good stone lifter. George Pearson. So I think we're going to see some good times.
I think you're right. And Von Sikorsky of the USA takes lane number 1, and Dale Peters of Wales on lane number 2.
Dale, someone I've seen quite a bit in the UK scene. Great athlete. Haven't seen so much of Vaughan.
But he's been an aggressive competitor, Vaughn.
He's got good height.
Yeah,
that's
an asset on both of these events here in the finals.
Yeah.
All of our army of Smurfs right there, making sure everything is set. Vaughn checking his stones.
Evans Nana out there helping these athletes. Seen him at Giants Live a few times now.
He's such a pleasant guy. I've had the pleasure of having a few dinners with him.
Great character, isn't he?
Yes, a character indeed. All right, Sikorsky versus Peters. USA versus Wales. There's Big Vaughn, and there is Big Dale. Peters setting the pace onto stone number 3.
I like this technique by Peters. He's not panicking. He's not trying to one motion. He's just been very methodical, moving smoothly between each stone. Obviously set himself a goal of finishing these. Can he get this up to the lap? This is number 5.
Is looking so powerful from the lap to the load. Look at that.
It's where those long arms help and that height. Peters having to work harder on the load. They are both going to go into this last stone. Wow, that's a nice pick up there. And look how much. Vaughan, can he push it? Oh, just slipping off the final platform.
A costly error. Dale
It does
Peters.
cost him. Dale Peters, that more methodical approach, takes the win in this heat. And Vaughan is so close. He'll want to finish this. Just runs out of time.
Dale Peters.
That was the technical superiority over the natural strength. Vaughan looked like he had the ability to do those stones, but maybe rushed a little bit, didn't get his hands quite around the stone with that long arm, those long arms. He's got everything needed to lift these stones well.
But experience well gained and never forgotten after this day.
And even that this is, these are things you can still get better at. You don't necessarily need to get stronger to be better at stones. Just improving technique can make a difference. If he watches this back, comes back next year and finishes all of them, he's more than capable of doing that.
In Heat 3, Lane 1, Mike Cromer of the USA. In lane number 2, Richard Birchmore of the UK. Big Mike right there getting his stone set. And Richard in a blue shirt right here.
How impressive was Mike on day 1?
Oh, man. That big man can move.
He can. Super fast, amazing pressing.
I believe he fell a bit behind on the deadlift.
Looking at him physically, you can see he's a presser, not a deadlifter, naturally. But
how well
still,
do you think that's going to carry over to a stone event like this?
Normally, you want those longer arms, but when you're as powerful as him, sometimes that's all you need.
Well, a man that has proven to everyone not to make any assumptions until these stones have been lifted.
How many times do we watch athletes and you think they're not built for that, and then suddenly they surprise everyone?
Oh, I love those moments, though. And anything is possible, especially when we get to the finals at a World Championship event. Mike Cromer right there on screen, USA. And Richard Birchmore, UK. Time to beat is 42.7 seconds by Mark Bevins.
Very fast for the first one by Richard. Mike not rushing, just focusing on his own stones. Richard really quick through these first 3. Now, does he have the strength on these heavier stones? Good load, still ahead.
Mike stuck on the edge there. Costly error and a lot of time and energy spent. Birchmore for the 5th load attempt.
Great lift there by Rich Birchmore. Can he do all 6?
He
would love
seconds.
to finish this. 10 seconds to go. Come on, Richard. Let's get it up to that lap. Oh,
And
I think
time
he's going
will
to run
expire.
out. Yeah, great effort though there. Been a brutal competition. 3 days, long days as well for these athletes. These over 50s, they're going to be in pain at this point. They will be relieved to see this competition over. But fantastic performance.
Relief is the word right there. And these guys are all smiles as they waddle back to the back room to get off their tacky. Our next 2 athletes, there's big George Pearson right there taking the arena floor, and we see Ben France of England, who's got the beard pulled back. We don't want any lost chunks of chin hair there. The precious beard. Don't take me, but not my beard.
But George looks like he's got all the tools to put these stones up.
You know, I was
The
so
height,
impressed.
the long arms.
So impressed with Ben France on the bag toss.
He was unbelievable on that.
He was one of the athletes that really shows us not to make any assumptions on body height or lever length because he is just so strong and explosive.
Yeah, watching him, he just put a masterclass in.
I mean, look at those traps. That's a man built for some action there, which I can't say any less about big George Pearson.
Yeah, Big George is a man mountain.
Laws, what's your personal take on Olympic weightlifting shoes versus flats for a stone event?
Again, it comes down to personal preference. A lot of the athletes that are going to use the lap and load technique, the lifting shoes definitely helps because you're almost in that kind of front squat position. And it gives you a little bit of extra height as well.
For you personally, what do you use?
For me, I've experimented with lots of different things. I probably would say I do like them. I think I've probably had my best stone runs using them.
Well, all right. The stage is set, and here we go.
If I was planning on one motioning, I probably wouldn't go with them. But if I knew the stones were heavy, those last few where you really got a battle, then yeah, I would
Look
use
at how
them.
fast France catches that stone in the lap and loads. The same for that 250.
Such an explosive athlete.
He's already on stone 3.
This
and
is
it
fantastic.
loaded.
He's really come into his own on day 3 of this competition.
I can assume with that beard tied back and restricted under that coif, it is just all business here.
Let's go, Ben. Come on. Can we see all 6 of these stones lifted? 350 pounds. He's up to the lap. And yes, it goes up.
Did you see the speed of that extension to the tower, Laws?
Absolutely. And there's the beard for everyone to see. George as well. He gets that 6 stone, finishes the competition strong.
Both men did so well. But another event where I'm just so blown away by the explosive power that is Ben France.
That explosive power, you tend to lose it as you get older as well. You know, that speed and agility and explosiveness is not something you often see from the older athletes. It's usually a younger man's ability to be so quick and so explosive. But to maintain it in your 50s, incredible.
What gives me chills is when these guys in the master's classes tell me I am the strongest I have ever been in my entire life. And that is just something that is so felt to the core of one's being that you can push well into the, I don't know, what do we want to call it, the strongman career gap, the age years there, and still be full of vitality and power. Speaking of power, heat number 5, our final heat, takes the arena floor. The big man, Peter Rundberg of Sweden, in lane number 1, will be on left of screen, and Mark Felix, the miracle man himself of the UK, in lane number 2. Laws, after what you've seen so far at the OSG, who do you think has this event of these two?
You know, my money's always going to be on Mark Felix. He is just the enigma of strongman. 57 years old. He still hangs with some of the absolute best in the world. But Peter is a great athlete, and he's not too far behind. And sometimes, when Mark feels that pressure, we do see him make mistakes. So, my heart's going to go with Mark. He's my buddy from England. But this isn't over yet. He needs to focus on his lane. The amount of times I've seen Mark kind of looking over at his opposition before, as long as he focuses on what he needs to do, I think he'll take this.
Anything can happen here, but these two will be high contenders for a fast time.
Peter, again, very well built for Atlas Stones, long arms. He's got that height as well, so that does help on these high platforms.
The time to beat will be all 6 stones loaded in 42.7 seconds by Mark Bevins. Rundberg versus Felix.
Mark's got those strong biceps, ridiculous hand and wrist strength. And we all know how strong his back is as well. So as long as he's focused on his lane, I think he'll do this. He's just ahead on the first stone. And as long as he keeps focused, needs to stop that looking across. I hate it when he does that. Easy stone again for Mark. And I think Mark can see he's ahead now. Now he'll be able to relax a little bit.
The final stone for Felix.
This is for the win. And he gets it. We get that customary Mark Felix roar at the end there. Peter still going. Can he finish as well? Yes, he does. We need to check those times as well. It could be close.
Both men shatter Mark Bevins' time. In second place, representing Sweden, Peter Rundberg. Your world's strongest man over 50, Mark the Miracle Man Felix, representing the United Kingdom.
There he is. I met Mark on the way out here and he was so cool and collected. He's always so relaxed, and there he is going up on that top spot. Mark Felix, our 50-plus Masters.
A trophy passed from World's Strongest Man to World's Strongest Man.
Wow.
And Mark Felix, he's one of those guys that's always so soft-spoken, but we heard that roar echo through the Coliseum walls when he loaded that last stone. It was a powerful moment to witness.
It sure was.
And at
Incredible.
57 years young, the title of World's Strongest Man. That's another inspiration to where age is just a number.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, that is, if you're out there and you're thinking you're too old, that is your proof right there. That top 10. And
All of those guys.
All of them, yeah, are top 10. But Mark Felix in the golden shirt with the golden trophy in at first place. Our 50-plus world's strongest man, Mark Felix.